Welcome back, people. Let's learn about event listeners in JavaScript in this video. I have added 5 buttons and each button has 2 classes. So each one has a number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's go to the code. We have 2 classes. One is button, which is common for all the buttons, and the other one is the name of the button, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We also have the script tag over here, which links to the dom.js, which has nothing in it, and the link tag, which links to the styles.css. So now we have 5 buttons, and every one of them is currently useless. If we press on them, nothing really happens. So let's go ahead and add some functionality to these buttons. The browser has to know that we are clicking a particular button in order to evoke its functionality. And this is where event listeners come in. The event listeners let the browser know when a particular event is being performed, like a click of a button. So let's go to dom.js. Here we are going to create a function. So when you run this function, we get an alert saying I was clicked. So now let's make the button call this function whenever it gets clicked. So above the function, we are going to add. So the query selector selects the first button. Then we are going to add a event listener. The event listener has 2 parameters. The first is type of the event. For example, click event. The click event means whenever the mouse clicks a particular target, in this case the first button, then the handle function, the handle click function will get executed. Remember, the click event must be a string. The input must be in the type of a string. So the second parameter is the listener, and it is usually a JavaScript function. In this case, we use handle click function. Some of you may wonder why we don't add parentheses right next to the function name when we call the function. That is because if we add a parenthesis, the function gets executed whether the event takes place or not. But here, since it does not have a parenthesis, it gets executed only when the event takes place. So what we will do is save this, go to our website, refresh, and our first button is 1. So if you click on it, you will get an alert saying I was clicked. So let's click on it again. We'll get the same alert. So what about the other 4 buttons? They are practically useless. Now we have to add our event listener to each of these buttons. We can either add one to each button manually, or we can use a loop. Using a loop is much better. So let's try to use a loop in order to add event listener to all these buttons. So as you can notice, we are using the btn class over here instead of the button element. You have to add a dot here to specify that it is a class. This is because we may have more buttons in the page which does not require the event listener. We need to add the event listener to only the 5 buttons, and all these 5 buttons, let's go to index.html. You can see all the 5 buttons have the common class btn. So we are using the class btn to select all the buttons that needs a event listener. Now inside the for loop, we are going to add this. So let's save this, go to our website, run it. So now if you click on any of these buttons, the alert gets executed. The event gets executed. So with this, we have added a event listener to all the buttons. I hope you would have liked the video. Thank you for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to Supporting Tech.